for a perspective on the new revelations in the Sushant Singh Rajput death mystery. I'm joined now by Vikas Singh, the lawyer of Sushant's family. Now you've got on the one side charges of Sushant having accessed and consumed drugs and in fact being an addict. You've got Ria's messages where she's trying to arrange for drugs for herself or for Sushant. That needs to be probed by the Narcotics Control Bureau. As the lawyer of Sushant Singh Rajput, what are you making, Vikas Singh, of these new revelations?
Well, Rahul, firstly, I have an objection to your question. It is not that Sushant Singh is getting entangled in a drug. His case may be getting entangled in a drug issue, but Sushant Singh was not ever in drugs. Now, the narrative which is emerging from whatever disclosure that has come since yesterday is that Ria was wanting to administer some drugs to him without his knowledge and without his consent, because that kind of a message will not indicate that he is aware of it. That kind of a message will indicate that it is being given to somebody and the effect will come after 30-40 minutes. So obviously to give it to him in a glass of water or a coffee is to camouflage the way it is to be given, rather than saying that this drug is to be given with so-and-so, which is, you know, like you say, you have this medicine with so-and-so. This is not one of those narratives. The narrative is give it in his coffee, give it in his water, so that it will go inside and then this will... Now, Rahul, the whole case that the family had initially made was that he is being overdrugged. That's what we say in the FIR. Now, when the overdrugged issue was raised, basically the thought process was that these are prescription drugs which have been given overdose, and that is why his anxiety level is high and he is not in a position to be calm.
No, but we also had Vikas Singh, the bodyguard of Sushant Singh Rajput, tell us in that investigation that we carried that Sushant was consuming drugs, that he had drugs hidden in his car, in bags, in fact, in that cricket bag as well when he was shooting Dhoni. So it's not just Ria arranging for drugs potentially for herself, maybe over-drugging Sushant, but the bodyguard now tells us, who was with Sushant for a year plus, that Sushant used to regularly consume drugs.
Well, there are two things, Rahul. Is this the bodyguard who was there with Sushant prior to the one Ria removed and kept later, or was he the one which was kept by Ria later? That will make a huge difference. If it was the one before the one engaged by Ria, then probably there is a need to answer this charge. If it is the one kept by Ria, then there is no need to answer this charge. And one more thing, Rahul. If you look at the personality of Sushant Singh Rajput, the way he was into exercise, fitness, yoga, meditation, that kind of a person normally doesn't do drugs. And as far as the family is concerned, he never did drugs. So this I don't need to answer unless one is aware that this charge is just been set up for an oblique purpose, or this charge is an
No, but that's not entirely true. There are so many people who are sports stars or film stars who are on the outside supremely fit, who are known to consume all manner of recreational drugs, including really serious, intense drugs as well. So it's not as if because you work out or you have a good personality, you're not likely to take drugs. There is no connection. Secondly, these charges are by Mushtaq, who worked with SSR from early 2018 to February 2019, and he's on camera saying, I did this, I carried the drugs for him. So in that sense, it's a confession from him about having arranged these drugs and ferried them around for Sushant, and that makes him also liable under various provisions of the Narcotics Control Bureau Acts.
Well, I have no idea about this Mushtaq, because I'm definitely aware that there was a guard who was there till January of 20 who was removed by Ria, and somebody was kept in place by Ria. But I have no comments to make, because our information is that Sushant never used to do drugs. So maybe whatever this Mushtaq fellow is saying, maybe it was being brought in for people around him. But it will be wrong for me to speculate unless I have the full facts.